read these things.
Yeah.
Right.
Could we acknowledge ourselves for showing up tonight? Give it up. Do you know the thing that the Course of Love says is it's almost impossible for us to accept is that no effort is called for?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Call.
So this is going to be another hour of listening to outrageous things that can be different from what we normally believe and what we've been taught. And we just need to remember that we don't have to believe it, we don't have to accept it, we don't have to welcome it. Some of it may be hard to believe, some of it might be startling. It's not about analyzing so much as about listening for your guidance, your own personal guidance. What is it that's being said, or if there's something that's said that resonates with you, that you feel like is an answer for you, that's what you want to stick with. So it really doesn't matter whether you believe any of the stuff that I'm saying. It's just keep in mind that there are no accidents, and nothing happens by chance. So the fact that we're all here together tonight is not an accident, and the fact that we're here to cover this particular part of the Course of Love, and I'm also going to share some things from the Way of Mastery, will allow us to get some messages. I need some messages right now.
Yeah.
I can tell that very much in my life I'm at a branching of the road. And so it's very important to me that I listen rather than try to take over. So that paragraph that we're on is on page 225, and we're next to the last paragraph on page 225, which says, "You who struggle to understand what these words say." That's a great. That's who is that? That's me. You who struggle to understand what these words say and what these words might mean, who strive to find the clues to what they ask you to do, will find it difficult to cease your struggle. Whoever's trying to figure out what this means is also somebody who will have a hard time not struggling. You find it almost impossible still to believe effort isn't called for, that what your heart but wishes for could simply come true. What your heart wishes for could simply come true through your acceptance of these words. So you who struggle to understand, all that's really being asked is your acceptance of these words, but I'm prepared to make it easy for you. You who have sought happiness without finding happiness, rejoice. Those of you who are trying to be happy, but you haven't pulled it off yet, it's interesting that it ends up saying, be happy. Think about that for a second. You who have been trying to find happiness but haven't found it, rejoice.
Because you're not happy.
Your happiness is not lost. When something is missing, it doesn't mean that it's gone. It just means I don't remember where I left it. So your happiness isn't gone. You just don't remember where it is.
Yeah.
And the world teaches us to look where we can never find it.
Yeah.
Even though we tried. And who can tell me where it is we're taught to look for it?
Outside.
Thank you. Outside
The mall.
yourself.
The mall?
Yeah.
Right. The mall. The last time I checked, the mall looked like it was outside myself. So, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. Because I like it. You who have so sought happiness without finding it, rejoice. It hasn't been lost. It doesn't require you to define it or put a name to it before it can be yours. So you don't have to name what your happiness is. You don't have to know what your happiness is for happiness to be yours. For happiness to come to you, you don't have to know what it is. For happiness to come to me, I don't have to know what it is.
Wow.
For happiness to come to me, I don't have to know what would make me happy. For happiness to come to me, I do not have to know what it is for happiness to come to me. Is this not what you have cried about in frustration? Have you not long sought to put a name on happiness? Haven't you long lamented that if you knew what would bring you happiness, you would surely pursue it? If you knew what it was, you'd surely go after it. If I knew what made me happy, I'd surely go after it. Have you not long stated that if you knew what would bring meaning to your life, you would simply do it? If I knew what would give my life meaning, I would do it. If I knew what gave my life real meaning, I would do it. Have you not long wished to know your purpose? If I wish I knew what my purpose is. I wish I knew what my purpose is. I wish I knew what my purpose is. To be given a goal that would fulfill the longing in you, I need a goal that would be fulfilling. I need something that I'm trying to do that would fulfill me. Have you not prayed for signs? Oh, please give me some sign of what direction I should go in. Read books that have promised you a series of steps to take to get where you want to go, only to realize you don't know where you want to go. I'm studying books that will take me to where I want to go, but the only problem is I don't know where I want to go. It's like having a map in your hand, but you haven't decided what city you want to visit. And have you not become impatient with advice? Haven't you become impatient with advice? Haven't you become, impatient with teachers? Hey, don't answer that one. Haven't you become impatient with teachers? Haven't you become impatient with courses of study? Have you not felt at the limit of your patience with instructions? Aren't you tired of getting instructions? Have you not felt the call to live growing stronger in you by the day? Are you not anxious to say, tell me what to do and I will do it? Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, God. Tell me what to do and I will do it. Are you not ready for certainty? Above all else, aren't you ready to stop doubting? Aren't you ready to have absolute certainty? Aren't you tired of doubting? Aren't you tired of doubting?
Yes.
Are you not ready to be done with studying? Aren't you ready to begin with living? Aren't you ready to be finished with studying? Aren't you ready to start living? Aren't you ready to be done with studying?
I'm not. I enjoy the studying. I feel it is part of living.
Okay.
That's the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay.
I love this night.
Is anybody in here that's
I'm kind of tired
ready
of it
to be
myself.
done with studying?
Yeah, I might be a fairy tale.
Aren't you ready to start living, spending your time living? It's like he just asking a question. He's not saying that there's a right or wrong answer.
No.
Like you said, for you, you're ready to, you want to keep, you enjoying studying, you want to keep studying.
I feel I'm going to be doing it. My existence is to study. It's going to be an avocation of mine.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying also.
Have you not become increasingly convinced that you haven't been living and wondered what it is you've been doing? Some of you wondering what the hell you're doing. Haven't you grown weary of what passes for life in your world? Haven't you wished that you could throw out all of the thoughts and worries that fill your mind and begin anew?
Now that's true.
Haven't you wished you could throw out everything that worries you and wish you could begin anew? Are you not simply ready to be done with the way things have been? Are you ready to begin a new way? Are you not ready to listen to a new voice? All this frustration and impatience has been building. This buildup has been necessary. Now, like an explosion waiting to happen, it only needs a trigger to be released. And with this release, the new can begin. This course is but a trigger. This course is a trigger. These words, these are the words that preclude the explosion. It is as if you have been waiting for someone to whisper, now. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. The whisper has come. The time is now. Can you let the worries of today leave your mind? Can you let the things you've been concerned about leave your mind? Can you let the disappointments of yesterday go and be no more? Can you let the things that disappointed you yesterday go? Can you let go of the things that you've been worrying about today? Can you let the planning for the future cease? Can you stop planning for the future? Can you be still and know yourself? Anybody have any thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs about what you just heard? Any questions, any comments about what you just heard?
I want to know the difference between like holding on to something that's disappointing and just when it's okay to just be sad about something that disappointed you yesterday.
It's always okay to feel whatever feelings that you want to feel, but you also need to let it go if you want to be happy. You can't be sad and happy at the same time. You're either sad or happy. So yes, it's okay to feel as much sadness as you choose to feel, but it also is impossible to feel happy at the same time. So in order to let go of the sadness, you have to let go of thinking about what makes you sad.
So, you know, you've talked about your sister, and
Right.
you know, there's therapists and all those people who think that you have to go through those processes of grief. Like, how does that tie into this?
It doesn't. It's not about trying to reconcile the old way that you've learned with the new way that you've learned.
Well, like, will you get all screwed up if you don't,
Grieve.
yeah,
If you don't what?
if you decide like, okay, I'm just gonna let this go.
Right.
Well, like a therapist would say, that's just.
It's not about the therapist. It's not about that's the whole point of what I'm saying. You can always find beliefs in the world that are opposite of what we're studying right now. And the piece that we're looking for is going to come from choosing another way to look at it. And we're getting another way to look at it. And what you're talking about makes a lot of sense because it's what 90% of people do. They say, I want something new. I want to do it differently from the way that I've done it. A new way is given us. And then we don't want to let go of the old way because we've been programmed to believe that that's what we should do. Even if our own experience shows us constantly that it doesn't work. It hasn't ever worked. It doesn't work for anybody. That's why it takes courage to follow another path. It takes courage to do it totally opposite from the way that the world does it. So you have to take a stand. That's what you have to do. You have to take a stand. You have to go either the direction I'm trying to go in now is the direction I want to go in, or I'm going to keep doing it the way that I've been doing it. But as long as you keep trying to reconcile both of them, you'll never have peace.
Can I share?
Either what's happening is coming from within, either my peace is coming from within or my peace is coming from outside myself. I can't compromise about that if I really want to have permanent peace. I can't keep dividing it between the two, between saying you're the one that's making me happy or I'm the one that's making me happy.
Can you be in peace and sad at the same time?
No. You can have peace about yourself. You can make it okay for you to feel anything you feel. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna mix them. I'm not gonna mix them. Not because you have to agree with me, but because that's what it's teaching. You know what I'm saying? It's perfectly okay not to agree with me.
No, I'm
No,
not.
but that's what you. But think about it. That's what you already do. That's what you've done all your life. All your life you've mixed your happiness with your sadness. All your life you've tried to listen to two different voices. So, has it worked? Has it brought you any really lasting peace? Just like everybody running around right now in a panic because they think that their happiness comes from outside of themselves. So we're looking for the government to fix everything so we'll feel okay again. We don't get it. It ain't nothing outside of us that's going to ultimately make us feel peace. All of us know that. Anybody that's been on the planet more than 20 years knows that. But we continue to try to play that game with ourselves. Then you reach a point where you have, where you just had it. Where you're just not going to do it anymore. And it's okay to do it the other way as much as you want. That's what's so cool about love, is that love will let you keep on doing it how you want to do it as long as you want to do it without trying to interfere with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we can try the old way as much as we like. So I'm not pressuring anybody to change in any way. What were you getting ready to say, Dawn?
I had an experience this week, and I was playing with the feel my feelings and don't run and avoid them. But at the same time, I was saying, okay, what happened is I had something come up, and it would be something I would try to distract myself from and get away from because it's grief. I don't like grief. So, and I'm afraid of it because it sends me into depression. So I saw it was grief, and I decided I'm going to grieve this. And so I decided I was going to feel my feelings. And then what I noticed was the thoughts that went with the feelings were crazy. So then I started saying, I need another way to look at it. And I need some new thoughts. And so while I was feeling the grief, the new thoughts started to come in, and it flowed through me faster than normal. So I don't think it's a black and white. I think it's a learning how to get new thoughts so that we don't have to grieve. I mean, I had to grieve because I was. So if I pretended I wasn't, this could have gone on for 3 or 4 weeks. I know, because I've done it a lot.
Yeah.
And I know what happens. I get really, really busy and really, really frantic, and I think it's about everything else, you know, because I'm trying to avoid the thing, and I didn't do it. I went into it instead. But I also, at the same time, started asking for new thoughts. So it really kind of worked well for me.
Yes.
That's a good point. And then, like, the guilt comes in and stuff, and that's not good.
It's all good.
Whatever comes up, you're supposed to use
Yay, baby.
what your spiritual path tells you to do to handle it. Whatever you've decided your spiritual path is, there becomes a point on your spiritual path where you have to be open to be guided, where you have to let go of this notion that it's up to you to figure it out. That's just a fact. At some point, we've got to open up to the idea that there's a higher power that's operating in our lives. I'm completely not doing these classes anymore about me figuring it out or helping other people figure it out. What I want to do is learn how to follow guidance and hear the voice for God within myself, and then also encourage everyone else through the curriculum that we've said we want to use, which in this case we use the Course of Love, and also going to use the Way of Mastery, Course of Miracles. So I would invite everybody to start, if you made a decision about one of these paths, to start asking yourself, what does my path say about this? What does my teacher say I should do about this? What does my spirit say I should do about this? That's what I'm trying to remember now. Like, what is it that the Course of Love is telling me to do when I feel fear? Well, one of the things it's told me is to dedicate all thought to union. You know, just like it said here, stop trying to plan and be still. Just for a minute, stop trying to plan and be still. Always remember, whether it's me or a therapist or a professor or a doctor or a minister or anybody. They are all people just like you. And so your ability to follow your heart and your guidance is equal to anything that anybody else could share with you. A person's label and role does not make them unequal to you. It doesn't make them more superior to you. Like a lot of times people, like, they'll say to me, well, you know, Eckhart Tolle said, or whatever. And it's like, that's great, but it also can be you said. And it can be Earl said. We're all equal as children of God. Nobody has a lock on how the truth can come through. And the truth is always going to be colored by the consciousness that it comes through anyway. You know, so what I'm saying is all the answers that you're seeking are inside of you, and all these things that we're studying are just techniques to get us to learn how to listen to ourselves and how to hear ourselves. But ultimately it's supposed to be directing us into not needing anything outside of ourselves other than the voice for God within us that we're listening to, because we all got our own individual curriculum. So my way is not your way, but we all headed to the same place. Like we all came in from different directions, but what brought us together was the goal to get here for the class. But we all came different directions. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. We all going toward love. We all going toward oneness, but we all got our own way to go there. And however you feel at any moment is coming from what you're telling yourself in that moment. It's never coming from the past. That's why he was saying it about, you know, can you let go of thinking about the disappointment about tomorrow, yesterday? Because it's not the disappointment of what happened yesterday that's making you feel bad right now. What's making you feel bad right now is you're thinking about the disappointment that happened yesterday. That's what's making you feel bad, not what happened. Because what happened that's making you feel bad is gone. That's a fact. What happened at 5 o'clock yesterday evening is gone. So if I'm hurting about something that happened at 5 o'clock, what happened at 5 o'clock has been removed. It's been removed because it ain't 5 o'clock yesterday. So why am I feeling mad? Because I'm thinking about it, focusing in on it, giving it my attention. That's why I'm sad. I'm never feeling deprived about anything that happened in the past. I'm always feeling deprived because of something I'm telling myself right now. It's not the way you handled money in the past that's got you broke today. It's the way you're handling your perception of money right now that has you broke today. It's not the person that betrayed you in the past that's keeping you from having loving relationships right now. It's what you're telling yourself about relationships that's keeping you from having a relationship right now. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. There is, because the past is gone, so it couldn't possibly be the cause of what you're feeling right now. That's a fact. But that's so deep that we miss it. At least I do. I'm tempted to take something in the past and say that's what's making me feel the way I am right now. I keep forgetting that now is eternal, and right now I can always choose another way I want to look at it. Right now I can look at it differently. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to be sad.
Obviously. Now, can you feel innocent about it? Okay, well then you won't stay sad very long.
No, but I just want to be sad.
Well, cool. All right. All right. That's fine. That's no problemo. Check this out, y'all. See, it's hard to study something that's saying you're not bad, you're not wrong. I know it's rough. I know we're so used to punishment and being judged and criticized that you come to something that's telling you okay. That is so unacceptable. That's what most people are experiencing their life as if they're broke and they need to be fixed. We're approaching it from you're not broke. You just need to get all the things out of the way that keeps you from thinking you are. That's a different premise. I am love. Now I have some beliefs that keep me from recognizing that. And I need to let those go. I used to think I'm trying to put love in me. I'm bad. and now I'm trying to put some good in me. I'm trying to be real good. I'm trying to make myself good. You're already good. You just forgot it. Because you're thinking about the past and worried about the future. So that's hard to have a good time right now. And then the Course says, you know why you're doing it? Because it's a way to punish yourself. Because you don't think you deserve to be happy. So you can't let yourself feel good right now. Because a person that doesn't love themselves doesn't deserve to feel good right now. So that's why it says we're so invested in the past and the future. Because it's a form of punishment on yourself when you're using it to remember stuff that makes you feel afraid and unhappy. Right. Yeah.
May I ask you, just if you can, quickly remind me, why is it that we want to feel less than? Why is that? Is there a quick answer to that?
Yeah, it's what we learned. That's the quick answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it's the way we were taught to see things. The Course teaches that perception is learned. That the way you see things is actually nothing but seeing your past learning. And we say that often.
Right.
You know, yeah, you call this a book. Why? Because you learned.
I was taught it was a book.
Okay.
You know,
now, a lot of us, I don't know about you, I was taught that I was born in original sin. And I was taught that the Son of God died because I was bad 2,000 years before I was even born, which really sounds really strange.
It is really strange.
Okay, my point is, and if we, I've had people say to me stuff like, I'm not going to say nothing too nice to this person because I don't want to build their ego up. Or people won't say loving things about themselves, or they think they're being vain, but they'll criticize themselves all day. You know, so in a sense, we've been taught that humility is self-debasement. That you're humble if you're putting yourself down.
But it's not.
No, that's an attack upon yourself.
Right.
Actually, think about it. If you were created by something that's loving and you were created by something that's grand and great and glorious, and that's what it thinks you are, because you are an extension of it, you were created by it, then really putting yourself down is arrogant.
Right.
Because it's you believing that your perception of yourself is truer than God.
It's truer than
what
God.
created
Right.
you is saying you're loving and you're lovable and you're powerful. You're saying I'm no good. That's arrogant, because now you're thinking your definition of yourself is truer than what love says you are. So most people are arrogant and they think they're being humble. You know, I think I'm being humble by saying I'm not enough, I'm pitiful, whatever. The truth is that's arrogant, because that's not the way I am. I'm a child of a glorious creator. What am I doing sitting around saying I'm pitiful and somehow that makes me good?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So most people believe that if they put themselves down, that's being humble. You know, and and then we can watch how people who don't love themselves react to someone who does. They tend to project on that person that they're egotistical. You know, like if a person comes in here and says, I really love myself. I really think I'm a handsome guy. I think anybody that would be my friend would be blessed because I'm a darn good friend. I really think I have a lot to offer. I'm a fun person to be with. Now, the person who is insecure is going to say that person is vain.
Right.
Someone who also feels complete is going to say, wow, that's a person who values themselves. And that's who I want to hang around, because it's the people who value themselves that tend to value others.
Right.
It's people who value themselves who tend to be the most successful in life. You know, but I was programmed, if I put myself down, if I tell myself I'm not enough, that somehow that's going to make me a really cool person.
I was taught from a different angle, but the same thing. You were talking about how you were taught that I had to prove myself. If I'm going to be good at sports, prove yourself. Be the best. Blah, blah, blah. And that's just an example of, so I had to prove myself. I wasn't born with a family that's original sin. I was born in a family that was loving, but I had to prove myself.
Yeah,
I had to prove
The
that I was this
same,
and
you know, the same teaching comes in a million different ways.
that. Exactly right.
Yeah. It's just the form that's different.
Mm-hmm.
We either being taught loving things or we're being taught fearful things.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a million different ways we go about doing it. But basically, everything is love or fear.
Mhm.
That's it.
It's all it
It's just
is.
love or fear. That's all we experience.
Mhm.
Fear got a lot of fancy names. You know, men like to call fear anger. Because most men, it's very difficult for men to say they feel afraid. It's not accepted in manhood,
Uh-huh.
in the manhood.
Yeah.
You know,
In the
just check out how little time in your lifetime
the
you've ever
manhood.
heard the average man ever say, I feel afraid. He'll usually say, I'm not afraid of anything.
Right.
That's the most common thing you hear men say. I'm not afraid of anything. But they get angry really quick. Anger is just an acceptable form of
I got
fear
a short fuse.
for someone who can't say they feel afraid.
So someone who can say they're afraid is actually more courageous than
Right.
men who are.
Right. Plus,
never.
you're going to automatically want to have it corrected. And most people don't want you to be afraid of them. So just by seeing you feeling fear and you want to let it go, it tends to bring up compassion in people. Much more than anger and attack does. You cuss me out, I'm not going to be as compassionate as if you were to say, look, man, I'm going through some stuff right now. I'm feeling afraid. And I really want to get past that fear. I don't want to feel this block. I'm much more prone to go, yeah, let's see if we can work this out. But you come at me, with vicious aggression because you're afraid. Then my first instinct would be to meet you with that. Yeah.
What if, okay, there's no what if. I've been very angry
Mm-hmm.
this week in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I don't see that I'm in fear.
That's the trick. That's the trick. That's the trick.
But I do feel angry.
And
I'm mad at you right now. No, I'm just kidding.
but that's the trick.
But, I mean-
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by if your spiritual path is saying that it's love or fear. Think about it. It really would be a lot simpler if that was what it was. Love or fear. And anger, and I'm just saying according to the course, is nothing but two things. It's an attempt to make someone feel guilty, be it yourself or someone else. And anger is also the result of someone or something not fulfilling your script. You have a script. Your script did not get acted out. That's what anger is. A lot of times, anger is a way to make someone feel so guilty that they do what you want them to do. So I'm gonna get so mad at you that you give in to my anger, and you try to please me. So, and even more than that, anger is an attack upon yourself because no one feels it but you, and it's literally physically attacking your body.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, you don't feel good in the body. You get a little momentary rush. Like when you lose your temper and you cuss somebody out, just for a second, you get this little weird kind of perverse kind of that kind of felt good. But later on, you usually come to a point where you go, boy, I wish I hadn't done that. Because it really doesn't feel good to me. Another thing I want to share, and again, I'm just sharing stuff from the material. It's also a form of punishment on yourself. So usually if we've had something really good happen, we try to follow it up with some form of pain, almost to pay for the pleasure we just had.
Couldn't I just choose like a depressive state instead? Like, why am I choosing anger? Normally, if I'm doing this kind of, subconscious stuff to myself, I'm sad.
You can choose depression. That's just another form
No,
of
but
fear.
I mean, I could,
Yeah,
but I'm pissed off.
yeah, okay.
I don't get
Okay, that's
unusual.
just giving yourself a variety of the same thing. The Course in Miracles says the only thing that we're choosing is which name to call it.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a brilliant statement. He said it's just love or fear. And all you're doing is deciding what you want to call it today. So this morning I call it anger. This evening I call it depression. Tomorrow I call it sickness. The next day I call it lack. Next day, I call it jealousy. He said all we're doing is choosing different names to call I feel separate. I feel afraid.
Yeah.
I feel not connected. And so then he says, and we just come up with these variety. See, the whole trick, he says, the way we keep it all going is by making it appear to be complex.
Mm-hmm.
That complexity is the way that you keep the smoke screen going. So everybody said there are all these complex problems in the world. And there isn't. There's just a lack of love happening. Period. You know, you're never going to hear the president or the Congress or the Senate or anybody else stand up there and say, the problem is we don't love each other the way we should, fellow Americans.
Cool.
I think it should
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to love each other.
Anyway, it's good.
You're never going to hear that. You're going to hear the deficit, the economy, Wall Street, taxes, immigrants. You're going to hear everything but we feel separate from each other. And then everybody's going to say, well, I would be that way, but if I do, somebody else is going to take advantage of me. You know what happens to nice people in this world. It even covers that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I know what you're going to say. You know, but at some point on the spiritual path, you have to take a stand and you have to go, I'm going to choose for peace. I'm going to take responsibility for the way that I feel. I'm going to decide that whatever I feel, I'm the one that's deciding to feel that I'm not a victim of everybody and everything else. Even if it looks like it, I know it looks like it. I know you can give me a million reasons why it is someone else doing it. And I know you can point out all the horrible things in the world that it looks like everybody else is doing to everybody. I don't care. I've made the decision that as best I can, I'm choosing for peace. That's all I can do. And I'm gonna learn how to listen. You see what I'm saying? It's like each person has to take a stand for themselves. And when you do that, you become a means to heal everybody.
Do you ever get sad or angry and all that? Frustrated?
Yes.
July 3rd, 1957.
Oh, that's
When was the last time you
That
were
was the
sad?
last time.
Before you were born.
This afternoon.
You were sad?
He wasn't sad, he was experiencing the opposite of that.
But this is the difference between me being sad and the average person being sad. I say I'm making myself feel sad.
So it's okay because we're pure and innocent.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like, that's just the way I feel right now. More so than it means I'm guilty. It's just, but even more than that, I want to remember that I'm feeling sad because of something I am remembering and telling myself right now. See, it's okay to have all these emotions and feelings, but when am I going to apply the truth to them? See, that's the issue. When are you going to take the truth and bring whatever you're feeling to the truth? In other words, I feel sad. How can I use that to wake up? Well, I need to remind myself that I'm the one making myself sad, that it's me focusing on the past or the future, that if I make myself feel guilty about it, then it's a form of punishment. I need to remember that it's my call for love, that I'm not alone, that it's just my feelings. And I can choose another one anytime I get ready, and sometimes you just want to make yourself feel sad for a while.
But I don't feel like it's anybody else. I don't feel like a victim. I don't feel like...
I swear to God, if you really believe what you was just saying,
I think I
you
would
would
feel
absolutely
guilty if I...
not feel sad. See, you really can't feel sad and be practicing the truth. That's what we got to understand. I'm sorry. If you're feeling sad, you are at that point thinking some thought, feeling, or emotion that is keeping you from feeling good.
Right.
Right.
That's fine.
Right. But if you really knew the truth, why would you choose that? You wouldn't. You would choose joy. You wouldn't choose sadness. But it's okay if you do. It's really okay for you to feel sad. But if you would think about it, most of the things I've said should be something that you really would like to side with instead of seeing what could be the flaw about it. That's what I'm saying. Because all I've said is you deserve to be happy. You are innocent. It's okay for you to feel what you feel. You got a right to follow your own heart. See, everything that I've said should be something that I would think a person would want to side with those ideas. So what part of us resists that? The part of us that still wants to suffer. That's the only reason why we wouldn't choose to side with ideas that would make us feel powerful and strong and innocent. And that's okay. You know why? Because at some point we all change our minds. And we go, there must be a better way. I'm ready to feel another way. And I'm going to do it. So we can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's depressing. To a part of our mind, that is depressing. Because the part of you that thinks you deserve to be punished does not like you not being sad. Okay? The part of you that doesn't want you to be happy, it does not want you to be happy. So when you go for happiness, it gets depressed. Don't you think that if you think about what we're being told, that it should create so much joy? Why doesn't it? There's a part of us that believes that somehow or another not being joyful is safer, better, beneficial. It's got to be that way. I got a choice. I got a choice and I'm choosing choice A. Well, choice A must have some payoff that I'm not ready to give up yet. That's all. There's something about being sad that I'm just not ready to give up yet. There's some payoff in it I'm not ready to give up yet. That's all. Well, end of story. No big deal. That's what I'm saying. Don't make it out of a big deal. It ain't a big deal. Yeah.
Don't you think that in the cases where a person or an animal makes its transition,
What's your question?
that you just miss them in their body form, because that's the easy form of, feeling, connected with them, and off they go, and you can rationalize that they're, not in pain and they're okay and all of that, but they're not in their usual presence anymore. So it's confusing, and therefore it's not that you're a victim or feeling sad, it's that maybe you're grieving.
Yeah, but you're getting some benefit from it.
Whatever you're feeling, it's coming from what you're telling yourself. Is the point that's being made. That if you're grieving, that's still your choice. If you're feeling sad, that's what we need to understand, is that it's not about the form anymore. It's really about the content. The content is whatever you're feeling, you're the one that's giving it all the meaning. That's the spiritual lesson. It's not telling you what to feel. It's just telling you that you're the one that's choosing it.
Which is okay, because you're innocent and pure.
Plus, that's the beautiful information, because that means that no matter what I'm going through, it can change. See, that's the good news about all this irresponsible stuff to me. It's like, oh, then it means whatever I'm feeling and experiencing, I could experience something else. That I don't ever have to stay in sadness all the time. I don't ever have to stay in anger all the time. I don't ever have to feel lonely all the time. If my loneliness was solved by you, then I could be lonely for the rest of my life. But if my loneliness is solved by me changing my mind, then I could not be lonely tonight. As long as you put anything outside of yourself as being the creator of your feelings, you're trapped. Because then all of a sudden, you're living your life like most people do, trying to please everybody so that the other person can give them their sense of value and worth. We're not trying to be on that track anymore. That's the track that's painful. Suppose your happiness depends on me, but I've decided I'm going to withhold my love from you. And I've decided I'm going to criticize and judge you. And you made the decision that you're not going to be happy unless I love you. You're screwed. Because if you know what I'm saying? If your happiness depends on how I treat you, and I've decided to mistreat you, and you're not going to feel good until I treat you right, you're trapped. You messed up. But if your happiness is based on what you're telling yourself, regardless of what I'm telling you, then you got the way out. Think about things that people say to you now that you don't even get the least bit razzed about, that a few years ago you would have been freaking out if they had to say those things to you. What changed? Your interpretation, the meaning that you're giving to what they're saying. That's why you don't get as upset now as you did 2 years ago. That's true about everything. That's true about everything. 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 Wow.
You're changing everything.
Yeah, how you feel is coming from what you are telling yourself is true about everything.
Right.
You know, it's how I felt when my sister made her transition still came from me. It didn't come from my sister. It didn't come from her transition. It came from what I told myself about her transition. That's where my feelings came from. You see what I'm saying? There are some people that are happy as they can be when their loved ones make a transition because of the pain and suffering that their loved one might be going through because of some illness or disease or something. They're like going, thank you, Lord, for taking them out. Okay? So that's a person who's happy about the death transition of
For
a loved
them,
one.
it's
Well,
actually
You know,
themselves.
but what I'm saying is,
Right.
why are they feeling happy? Because it's what they're telling themselves. They're saying, I think it's beneficial for my sister to be out of that ravaged, diseased body.
They're
So
act-
it's what they're telling themselves that's determining how they're reacting to the transition of someone.
They're actually in a better place anyway.
I don't know. That is what the idea that I'm siding with.
Yeah.
That's the idea that I'm siding with. I'm siding that we were created by love. I'm siding with the idea that what's beyond this is something that's even greater. I can't prove that.
It's more fun to feel
But-
that way.
But what I can do is, in this moment, I can choose how I'm going to see it. See, I don't know. See, the Course says theoretical issues are just delaying maneuvers to keep you from making a decision. Like if we were to sit here and discuss what happens after death, nobody can prove what happens after death sitting up here. So it's just a delaying maneuver to even talk about it.
But,
That's your butt.
I know. You know how we're all one and we're all united and
That's
we're
the
not about
that's the
separation,
rumor.
we're about
That's
unity.
the rumor. That's the rumor. Yeah.
So even though someone makes a transition, as far as like the Course of Love talks about, the love is permanent.
Right. That's
so
that's
we
what we're
believe
being taught.
as a group, if this is our spiritual path, that nobody ever actually leaves us.
You
But yes, but what you're doing is you're siding with that idea. You can't prove
Can't you
it.
side with that and still be missing them?
Oh, yeah.
If you choose to look at it in a way that makes you miss them. See, I'm not going to get away with it, no matter how many angles you come at me.
I know. I'm
You can come at me.
Try them all.
You can try every angle you
I
want
don't
to,
know why.
but in the end, I'm still tell you the truth, which is, however you feel is coming from the meanings that you give things. Period. That's it. No guilt, no fear. Yes, you can grieve if that's how you choose to feel, and that's okay. You can feel good. That's okay.
But isn't it loving to? I know I'm driving you guys crazy.
No, you're not.
No,
No,
it's
it's
cool.
just
Is it
no.
loving?
When it gets to a certain point, I'll cut it off.
Okay.
But, okay,
And then I
you
get
know,
all mad at
no,
you.
it's
You
cool.
don't know.
no, it's just you feel a need right now to not join with the idea. You want to feel separate. You want to feel
part
sad.
join.
Well, you know, and it focuses a lot of attention on you too,
Yeah,
and
maybe I just need
you want
attention.
that too.
Yeah.
And we all want attention.
Totally. Oh, I fully admit. I want attention.
Yeah.
But
We all do. We
here's
all
my
do.
question.
We all do. We all do. We all do.
Lots of butts.
I'd
We
say
are. But
anybody.
what it's
Loving.
doing though, the cool part about it though, is it's giving me an opportunity to say the same thing over and over again. Because we need to walk away from here tonight with at least one friggin' point that we don't forget. And what you're doing is you're helping us remember the main point of tonight, which is we are giving everything we see and experience all the meaning that it has for us. And it's coming from what we're telling ourselves right now. And I need to really get that idea really clear, that it's not my past that's making me feel the way I feel right now. I need to let go of that belief that I am feeling the way I feel right now because of my race, how I was brought up, what happened last month, what happened when I was a little kid. It's time to let go of that perception of why I feel the way I feel. And you're saying that is just creating an opportunity for me to say that over, and because no matter how, see what's so cool about the answer, it never changes. So therefore you don't have to try to figure out what this, I don't have to figure out anything what to say to you. It's like whatever you say, the answer doesn't change. So that frees me up from analyzing, It frees me up from trying to figure out what you're talking about. It frees me up from trying to change your mind and not make it okay. You know what I'm saying? Because the answer won't change. No matter how many angles you come at it, everything that you're feeling is by your own choice.
I get that. I just need to understand something. So, say something really bad happens with your neighbor, and you feel sadness for them.
You're choosing to look at it in such a way
But
that you
isn't
feel
that
sad for them.
compassion?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with compassion.
But is that what compassion is feeling sad for somebody else's pain?
No, actually, that's just increasing it. That's not really helpful at all. That's another misperception that we've been taught, which is that if we join in the suffering, that makes us a compassionate person. Right. If you're feeling bad and I feel bad too, somehow or another, that's good for you. But actually, it's just double sadness. What really needs to happen when you're feeling sad is that I still maintain my peace and my center, and I hold space for you to feel as sad as you want to feel, and also show you that there's another way to feel, which is to feel peaceful in that moment. So, true empathy is not joining in the suffering. True empathy is not joining in the suffering. And of course we're going to feel resistance to the stuff that I'm saying, because that's why we're here. We wouldn't be here if we wanted to hear the same thing that we've been taught. See, that's what I have to keep remembering. We wouldn't be here if we were trying to do it the way it's always been done. We're here because we want to hear other ways of looking at it. So yes, you can feel sorry for your neighbor. You can have compassion for your neighbor.
Movies.
Yeah, whatever. It's just as long as you realize you're the one that's choosing how you're feeling.
Because you're getting some benefit from it.
Because there's some benefit to you in joining in the suffering with them. And you're still innocent.
Okay.
All right? There's nothing you're going to do that's going to change that. But can you see things in such a way that make you not feel good? Of course you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so the real issue is, are you willing to see things another way that allow you to feel peaceful and joyful and whole and centered? That's the issue. I got two choices. Which one am I going to choose? And I need to be reminded that it's my choice, because I'm not in a world that reminds me that it's my choice. I'm in a world that tells me I'm a victim of everything that's going on around me. That's what I hear on the news. That's what I hear in the newspaper. That's what I hear with conversations on the street. 90% of the time, people are coming from victim consciousness, and we are being constantly bombarded with ideas that we are the victim of everything that's happening. So it takes a conscious commitment and dedication to make sure you hear the truth, and that you hear about your power, and you hear about you having choices. That doesn't happen by accident. That comes from a commitment to your spiritual growth.
You're getting
You're
better
also-
every week.
Hmm?
You're getting better at it every week.
But what I hope that I'm doing by doing this is giving myself more and more opportunities to hear it, so I will remember it and apply it to my own life.
And you see it different every
That's
week.
the same
We're
way-
also bombarded, as you said, like
That's
with
the same way
news.
with you, Jeff. You got better every week, and he took it.
Thank you.
We're getting bombarded by, watch out for that tall bald man walking across the street. Kids, get over here on the left side of me. That kind of stuff too. We're getting bombarded. I feel that I'm getting bombarded by, and that's why I don't watch the news anymore. By, watch out, the boogeyman is behind every goddamn door, is lurking on your roof, ready to jump on you, or whatever else like that. It's just for me, it's important for me, and it's fun for me to be diligent about the thought and the understanding and the seeing of people are trying to brainwash me away from who I really am.
Right. Right. But it helps to have some idea of who you really are.
And that's right.
That's right.
And that's why I'm saying it's fun. Is because I'm starting to get a feel for who I really am.
That's right.
By coming to these groups for a
That's
long,
right.
long time.
That's right.
Being bombarded by you with loving thoughts,
That's
and by
right.
the books and by the people
That's right.
with loving thoughts.
That's right.
I'm starting to understand
That's right.
this guy is not bombarding me with loving thoughts. He's bombarding me with, please join my fear.
And
It's like,
I'm so
fuck you.
glad I know I have the ability to not give what he's saying any meaning for
Right.
me.
Yes.
Right.
See, now I can't maybe not give it any meaning for you. You may choose to give everything you see meaning, but I do have the ability to say, I'm going to give this meaning for me, or I'm not going to give this meaning for me. And sometimes because of my programming, I'll give it fearful meaning before I even realize it.
That's right.
Okay, and then but as long as I remember I'm the one that's doing it, it's still empowering me. Even if I fall for it and all of a sudden I'm scared about the economy, as long as I tell myself, I am making myself afraid about the economy right now. I'm making myself afraid about the job market right now. I'm making myself feel afraid I might get laid off. As long as I preface it with, I'm making myself feel, then whatever feeling I'm having, I'm empowering myself.
Right.
Even
Which
if
is cool.
I'm making myself mad at you right now empowers me. That's not me pretending I'm not mad. That's not me repressing myself. I'm making myself angry about this right now. That's empowering.
And knowing that you're empowered with that gives me the knowledge that I can freaking fix it.
That's right.
And that is cool.
That's right. You can't keep on saying, I'm making myself, I'm making myself, I'm making.
Wait a minute, I'm making myself.
I'm making myself.
Right.
See, at some point, it may be 6 months down the road, it may be 6 years down the road. But one day you're going to go, wait a minute.
Exactly.
I'm making myself feel this right here. Well, I could ask for another way to look at this.
That's right.
But that's not going to happen until I repeat it over and 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 over, because I'm in a place where I'm hearing I'm a victim. I'm in a place where that's what you hear.
Exactly.
Everybody's a victim. Everybody's a victim who's asleep, and those who are awake see themselves as being responsible for the way that they feel and see things. There's only two kinds of people in the world: those who take responsibility and those who blame. That's it. And they come in all various flavors and races and sexes and social economic conditions, but that's all you got in the world. Those who believe they're a choice at some level, and those who think that they're dealing with unseen forces that they have nothing to do with. And most people go back and forth between the two, depending on which one's convenient for them at the moment.
That's a
right.
good point.
The course calls it being joined and separated at the same time. Yeah.
See, so if you can do that, you can be sad and at peace at the same time.
You can be what?
Back and
Still
forth
trying
is
to
the
get
same as,
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think it's possible ever in the future, ever, for a message of love to be more powerful than a message of fear?
I think it's true now.
Yeah.
But
Right
with
now.
media and with certain decisions that are being made,
I think that that's the only direction that everything is headed, and that everything that's happening, no matter how horrible it looks, is moving us to love
Yeah, on all levels.
on all levels. That I don't care how
Personal
much big of a
life,
crisis it looks like.
Yeah.
If the whole financial system crumbles, what's going to happen is a saner system is going to be
It's gonna come
devised to
back, yeah.
replace it. You know, no matter it's all. In other words, let's make a choice, and let's side with the idea that love is really what's behind everything, no matter what it looks like.
I think it's the human condition that love is the default.
You know,
Like look at 9/11, this horrible thing happened, and look at how much love. That's how people.
that's my point. That love is the foundation of everything, and if you see love as freedom, then you understand why it looks so chaotic. The chaos is coming from the very freedom that we have to make all kind of choices that we're making, and we're seeing the result of all the different choices that we're making out of love, which is the freedom. But this is the cool part, though. You can't change reality. You can't change the laws of God. So we can screw it up as much as we want to screw it up, but what's real is unaffected. What is real cannot be affected by our folly. You know, even if we nuke the whole earth, 200 million years from now, there would be radioactive creatures that would be thriving off the nuclear environment. Now, would humans as we know it be gone? Yeah. But would the earth be destroyed? I don't think so. You see what I'm saying? It's like we really don't have the power that we think we have to affect what's real. We can only affect at this level what's not real. And so we're trying to get to the real. We're trying to get to the love. At least that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to go, I am open to another way to look at this. I would rather be happy than to be right. I'm willing to learn how to listen now. And that was one, and that so let's stop now. I'm gonna do the love offering, and then there's one statement I want us to take out before we go out into the dream. Whenever you change, the people around you change.
Yeah.
So if nobody's changing, I'm not changing. If nobody's changing, you're not changing. You know. So it makes sense to me that every time I leap to another level of consciousness within myself, that some people leave my experience, some people stay in my experience. And some people I have to choose out of relationship within my experience. Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, because some of your friends need you the way you used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So your change is going to be unacceptable to them because they need you to play the role that you played before that you're not playing anymore. So they'll find someone else to meet that need. Some of your friends and people you know, they're going through the same evolutionary shift, so they'll be right there with you. In some relationships, you're going to find just are no longer helpful for you. And then you might say, well, I need to choose out of that. That's not a condemnation of that person.
No,
It just
no,
might not
really.
be serving you anymore. So there's a statement from the Way of Mastery that I wanted that I wanted to end this with. And I'm gonna say it first, and then those who want to say it behind me, please do. But it's really great. It says, "I am not what I have perceived myself to be. I am not what I have perceived myself to be. I am not what I have perceived myself to be. I am unlimited, pure spirit, and nothing is unavailable to me. I am unlimited, pure spirit, and nothing is unavailable to me. I am unlimited, pure spirit, and nothing is unavailable to me."
Unavailable to me.
Yeah. Therefore, in this moment, I choose to open access. I choose to open access to other dimensions of experience.
Oh my.
To other dimensions of experience, so that I might call this moment to me in a different way. This moment to me in a different way. I'll say it faster so that you can hear it. I am not what I perceive myself to be. I am unlimited, pure spirit, and nothing is unavailable to me. Therefore, in this moment, I choose to open access to other dimensions of experience, so that I might call this moment to me in a different way.
Wow.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for helping me remember. Thank you for helping me remember. Thank you for helping me remember. Thank you for helping me remember.